Alright you guys, so this is going to be my last video for tonight, and this wasn't a request by anybody. This is actually just something I'm doing after I did some photos today, so I wanted to share just what my process is and what I feel works best for me in how I call my session photos, my session images. And this is not a actual paying client. This is actually a friend of mine who came over and we were just goofing around and doing some photos for her. But I figured since I need to go through this process and do it anyway, I might as well just share it and show what I do. I call my images using Adobe Bridge, and the very first thing that I do is when I plug my SIM card into my computer, it pops up on my desktop, and the very first thing I do is I create a folder on my desktop for where I'm going to put my images. So this one I just called it Wedding Baby. We did some images of her 10-month-old baby girl playing in her wedding dress, which was cute. We were just goofing off. So I'm going to pull open Bridge, and over here on the left side panel you'll see a desktop folder and then your computer folder. And the computer folder is going to have my card in it. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And this has some other images in it also, so actually I probably should have cleaned this up before I started this, and I didn't. Let me go through and get rid of those really quick so I can start fresh. Otherwise that would have been really confusing for you. Okay. Let's go back down. Here we are. Okay, so the reason I like to call my images in Bridge is because you get all of your metadata information down here. If for whatever reason, whatever your system is, if you like to see the metadata, anything about what lens you were using, or your all of your camera settings, focal length, things like that, all of the metadata is here to play with. What I use this for, however, is the star rating system, which I thought I just cleared that out, but apparently I didn't, because there's still images here. I need to get these cleared out for this to make sense for you. That was from a different project I was doing. Okay, so when nothing is, when there's no stars on here, usually these are all gone. But because I already had some things marked, that's why they're showing up. But usually it just shows no rating up here, and it shows you how many images are on your SIM card. Okay, I'm going to go down to where these images start here, and you'll see that they'll pop up here. And I go through initially and I just mark using my keyboard Command 1, and I'm using a Mac keyboard, so it might be different on a PC, but if you hold the Command key down and click 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, it's going to appoint that many stars to that image. Okay, so that's how the star system works easily for me. I pretty much just go through these with one hand on my arrow keys to go back and forth, and my other hand is on the Command and the 1 key, so I'm just hitting Command 1. Okay, one thing that I'm really picky about with my images, if I have a couple of images that are very similar, but I can't decide which one that I love, my number one go-to is it in focus? And this is the next thing that I absolutely love about Bridge. Your keyboard, or I'm sorry, your mouse is going to automatically be the magnifying glass when you hover over your image, and if you give it one click, it's going to zoom in. It'll take a second to go in focus, but it's going to zoom in really close to wherever you clicked, and you can even hover over where it zoomed in, and you can scroll your mouse and zoom it in even further if you really wanted to for whatever reason. But that is what I use this for, and why I love this so much more than just opening a folder and going through your images that way or in the back of the camera. I love that you can move this around and you can zoom it right in on one particular area and see if it's in focus. And here's another thing. If I'm having trouble deciding between, say, this image and the image before it, it takes a minute to get everything, to read the information and get it clear. But I can have this hovered over a very similar area and then go from one image to the next and see what's in focus. Okay, so like this one, for example, she's looking down in this image, but it's focused on her eye, and it's focused on her eye in this one. So pretend for an example that these were both her looking at me. There's a lot further down that are really cute pictures, but they're very out of focus. This little girl was running all over the place and we couldn't keep her still, so we had a hard time with that. But I would go back and forth, and the that would make my decision for me. Whichever one is better in focus is the one I would keep. So initially, when I call my images, I start at the beginning. Like I said, one hand on the arrow keys and the other hand on my command one. And I'm just going to go through and mark any of them that I think are cute enough that I would want to save. And if there's two like this that are very similar, that's exactly what I would do. I'm going to zoom in and see, okay, that one's pretty in focus. Is this one any more in focus? Okay, so they're both in focus, so it doesn't matter. It's really whichever one I want to pick. This one has less cut off on the bottom, so I'm going to keep that one. She doesn't look too happy there. And this is literally what I do, just go through and just play with them until something catches my eye. That's really all we got of her in the basket, and then we moved on. She liked playing with these shoes. Do I have any smiling? That's kind of a smile. That's kind of a smile. And that's really what I do. I just go through and I narrow down, and I'm going to go through these really quickly. She loved eating her mom's shoes, which was disgusting, but it was cute. So we let her. And she was not happy about taking pictures today. Let's go through. We'll keep that one. We'll keep that just because it's funny. That's cute. And I'm saying this out loud as I'm recording this video, but I actually do that out loud to myself anyway, which is really funny. My husband laughs at me. I'm just sitting at the computer and I'll talk out loud to myself. Oh, that's cute. Let me keep that. Oh, that's cute. Um, let's see. Her mom did not really want any photos of her naked. She was okay with her butt showing, but she didn't want anything on her chest showing in photos. So we were trying to turn her so she wasn't facing us. I'm going to keep some of these anyway because I feel like even if we don't put anything online, her mom might actually like some of these. These were funny. This child is 10 months old and she just stood up in the middle of this session like she'd been doing it her whole life. It was hilarious. She's kind of wobbly, but she stood right up like a pro, and we thought it was funny. Even though that's totally not appropriate, I'm going to use it. Okay, so let's go through. These are cute. I'll keep two of those just in case one's not in focus. I'll keep that. I'll keep that. And anything that catches my eye that I think is even a possibility. There's no way I would use all of these, but if it's even a possibility, I'm just keeping it, and I'll show you why. I'm really just narrowing down and getting all of the clutter out right off the bat. The stuff that's absolutely never going to happen, I want those out of my gallery. This is her other daughter. She did not want to be in pictures, and I didn't get a single good one of her, so that's too bad. Still going. Okay, and we did some of these, but she didn't have anything on her top, so we changed it up and put something on her. There we go. And these are cute. I think I like that one. Okay, so that's all we got. All right, so I just went through all of those images, and you'll see over here, next to my star ratings here, under 1 star, I selected 39 images. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmark all the rest of those. So in my gallery here, I have just marked 39. So now I'm only looking at those 39 images, and that is the biggest help when I'm calling my images. Is initially right off the bat I might have 300 images on my SD card, but a lot of those might be junk. They might be blurry, they might be 10 photos of the exact same image in the same pose just to absolutely make sure one of them came through in focus. That's once you get rid of all those, it really takes a lot of the pressure off when you're actually now just looking at, I only have 39 images to choose from. My galleries are usually 30 images, so the fact that I narrowed this down to 39 is not bad at all. This isn't for a real client, like I was saying, this is just for fun. I'm just sending her some pictures. She'll order prints, whatever. But if this was for a real client, I would feel really good about narrowing this down right off the bat to 39. So now, because some of these are duplicates where I wasn't sure which one was going to be more in focus. And so when I get rid of those, I'm going to be right where I want to be. And this is exactly what I would do next. I would go through the ones that are duplicates and I would say, okay, which one of these is the better option? Let me see. First thing I do is I go to the eyes, because if the eye's not in focus, I don't want it. If it's even the slightest bit blurry, I don't want it. And those are actually, that's a bad example because those are actually both in focus. She was getting really crazy further on down the road, so it's probably one of these that are going to be a better example of that. That one's in focus. And this is what takes a little bit more time. Okay, see that one right there, not in focus at all. So I'm going to Command 0 and take that star away. I'm just going to get rid of it right off the bat because it's not in focus. And if it's not crystal clear, I don't want it. Okay, so those are both good. Let's see, that one is not in focus at all. So cute picture, but not in focus. So sorry, see, I gotta go. And sometimes that's terrible. Sometimes you have a photo that turned out really cute, and see here, this is why I take like 3 shots of the same image, because that one was a cute picture, but it was not out in focus, and this one's the same, essentially the same picture, and it's crystal clear. So I'm glad I took that. But I'll take 3, 4, and 5 of the exact same shot, or I'll try to, just to make sure one of them comes in clear. But anyway, I would just continue this process and go through. You can either, what I would do if I had an abnormally large amount of photos that would work, say I'd narrowed down with my first run through, I ended up with 50, for example. I would go through at that point and do what's in focus, what's out of focus first, and dump the ones that are absolutely never going to work. And then usually I would end up with somewhere closer to 35-ish range, somewhere in there. And I know at that point I need to, everything I have is usable. Everything is a good photo. It was appealing to me and everything's in focus. But now I know I need to narrow down based on duplicates and what's giving a good variety in the client's gallery. And this is the thing that I have to tell myself, because I get really emotionally connected to these pictures. If the client's not seeing it, they're not going to miss it. They never knew it existed. So if you're having a really hard time narrowing down between one or the other in some image, this one, she looks really cute because she's looking this way, but this one's really cute because she's holding her foot, but at the same time it's really essentially the same picture, and you don't need 2 of the same picture just with her looking in a different direction. Just pick one and delete it. The client's never going to know there were 2 that were so similar. They're not going to miss it. And if you put too many of the same image in a gallery, it's going to become really overwhelming to the client. It's not going to seem as special to the client, and when they want to go order prints, they're going to be kind of in the same scenario you're in, and it's just not going to be it's not going to be that wow factor for them. So if I sent this to her and said, okay, this is your gallery, actually this girl was so on the move, this is probably a bad example because they are actually very pretty different, a lot of these images are. But if I had like 4 or 5 of her really cute, really in focus, but laying on a beanbag just like this, even if I think they're all cute, I would never put 4 of those photos in the gallery. In fact, I have 2 right here. I'm not going to put both of these in her gallery. I'm going to get rid of one of these because I don't need 3 images of the baby laying in the same position on the beanbag just because she's smiling cute in every single one of them. It's not necessary. These down here in the veil, that's probably a better example. These 3 right here, they're all cute, but she doesn't need all those. She needs 1. So which one is my favorite? I don't like that at all because it's crinkling over her face, so I'm just going to get rid of that one right now. So between these 2, which one's my favorite? I think that one's my favorite, but it's covering her, or it's showing her chest, and I know she really didn't want her chest showing, so I'll probably go with that one, even though I really liked this one better. This is one I would maybe even try to do a face swap on, which is another video into itself. But I might keep both of them because I would consider swapping that smile in from this image onto this one. So I'm covering her chest, but I still get that cute little smile in there. So anyway, I would narrow down, and when I get, we'll just pretend for a second that I have all the images I want here. Remember, I'm working through my SD card right now. Once I have this narrowed down to the images that I want to make sure I'm selected only on those images. I'm going to highlight all of them. Click the very first one, hold the shift key to the very bottom one, and then I'm going to, well, first I'm going to open my desktop and find that folder right here, Wedding Baby. I'm going to hold all those and I'm going to pull them right over into the Wedding Baby file. And now I'm not working on my SD card anymore. If I go right into that folder, now I'm only looking at those selected, in this case, 36 images. And that is what I'm going to work out of to play with. Now I don't have a 50 image gallery, I just have 36. And that's how I narrow down my images using the star and rating system. So I hope that helped you guys out.